Hello guys, it's Nathan here, and welcome back to some more Street Fighter Cross Tekken commentary. Yeah, it's good to be back for this game, man. It's good to be back. Or at least after a good month or so. And you're probably wondering where I've actually been, at least for the last month, because it's actually been about over a month since I'd actually put up some Street Fighter Cross Tekken content on here. And yeah, the reason why is because education right now is kicking my ass. I mean, this year is pretty hard for me right now. At least in my opinion. And so trying to basically play this game as well as juggle my very difficult education life right now is pretty difficult. Especially because I want good grades this time, man. Come on, man. Can't walk out with my grades last year. It's like, oh man. But see, I go away for a month and damn, come back and like there's this version 2013 patch of Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I mean, that's the thing with the fighting game community nowadays, at least, man. At least during this sort of boom period, like. You know, you go away for like a good week or a good month and just not playing fighting games, and like you, oh my god, you missed like massive amount of announcements. I mean, it can't last forever, but you know, at least it's good. At least it's good whilst it lasts. But I think that's probably the reason why there hasn't been much road to B ranks footage so much. In the fact that like, I think I've just become lazy in the fact that they just mentioned this patch, and I'm like, oh, it's just a patch, like. Just this patch. Like, I think it's like the idea of like when they announce the patch and they're not like, and they said it's not coming out until like 3 months, so I think it's in December-ish from now, and I'm like, oh, okay, so like playing this game for pre-patch is like, oh, I don't know. I'll still be playing it though, but it just felt kind of like, I just felt kind of like, oh, what's the point playing this as much? But some people probably want to know, what do I think about this patch? I mean, even then, like, that might not mean much to some people, but you know, still, what do I think about it? I think the idea of this patch is like to sort of overall to take the game like to a more offensive level of play. Like the idea is that like I think Capcom kind of saw the tournament footage and was like, this is not how we wanted the game to play out. You know, we wanted to be kind of people play offensively. I mean, there is offensive play in tournaments, but it tends to be like sort of more defense oriented, you know, people doing safe chains and like stuff. And so I think the idea was to kind of like take the game to a more offensive level. You can see that in like the system changes. They basically made roles more vulnerable, so you can't use them as like a sort of escape anymore. And like they also nerfed meter gain on moves like that you could charge from full, like charge moves especially, that you could charge from full screen. So for instance, like you can't just sit there and charge like up your charge move every single time and get some free meter for it, which is what some people actually did, and I think it was actually a very good tactic. But nah, and stuff like runaway jump back tatsus and stuff like that, airborne tatsumikis, they don't build any meter. If you're a Shoto player, at least they don't build any anymore. So I think probably Sakura still does, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But and then there's also like the stuff. And then there's also the buff to Pandora, which is I suppose it's a small buff. I mean, it's like 3 seconds added to the clock, which I think is pretty good because at least it will allow like some people to use Jin and Ogre as Pandora characters. Because as they are right now, you can't really do their supers without the clock running out in between. And because like it's the idea of like the clock doesn't stop doing cinematic supers, so it still doesn't do that. I suppose it's like, I don't know, I think it's because I suppose it's like the other buffs, the other stuff they put in there, such as like the buffs to cross-art damage now, especially. Like, right, I mean, in the past it used to be cross-arts, or cross the mechanic, sorry, let me explain the whole mechanic of cross-arts for those who don't know. The whole mechanic of a cross-art is that the idea is that a cross-art is supposed to do the damage of your super, or your second character, plus 100. So for instance, if I was to take the example of Akuma for instance, his Masogi does 300 damage if you use it raw. But if you use it in a cross art, it will basically do 100 damage more, so it will do 400, you know. But the idea now is that they're adding 50 more damage to it, so now it will do 450 in a cross art situation if you do it raw. So therefore basically increasing, you know, the threat of using a level for using basically a cross art over like, you know, something like a super. And you know, therefore, like, you know, make people scared when they actually got 3 bars. I mean, that kind of sucks for me because both my characters, like, it means that pretty much if anyone hits me with any raw cross art, even like from Ryu Ken now, because that, I mean, even like, you know, that kind of the average cross art now, that'll take over half my health. That'll take like at least half my health of any character I play. So I suppose that's something. I suppose it's sort of an idea to end the matches quick instead of basically ending it in timeouts as well. And then also there's also stuff changes to meet again. Like players are now rewarded for going in, especially as I said before. Like, you know, there's stuff on airborne tatsus and other stuff. But Yeah, but also changes to my characters. Ah, yes, the changes to my characters. Both my characters, I mean, I feel a bit smug to say this, but, you know, both my characters kind of got buffed overall. But I'll get into that later because, you know, I kind of missed the one important thing I was going to talk about. Pretty much the idea of the one of my other points is pretty much, I think the idea, I think what they also want to do with this patch is take the game to like offensive levels. Yeah, I've said that before. But they also wanted to, they also basically wanted to diversify the use of characters, and they kind of did this, but like really nerfing the Street Fighter cast very hard and buffing the Tekken cast like very big, like a lot. The Tekken cast, they got anti-air buffs. They tend to be, they're like, I think that's the biggest buff for their Tekken characters because a lot of their anti-airs were like, they were alright. There were some exceptions like Lily, but so the rest of them, they kind of had like meh anti-airs. At least some actually had decent anti-airs, but you know, now they're just way better. They're now just completely invincible to their aerial attacks now. And like, also like, they just got other buffs like better normal ranges. And the system changes, I think, will benefit them more as well. But that does, I mean, the Street Fighter cast also kind of got heavily nerfed, and I mean, there's one thing I've always haven't really been a big fan of when Capcom balances their games, that when they tend to nerf someone, they always tend to nerf them like really hard, but they don't tend to give them something to sort of like make up for the amount of nerfs as much. I mean, a good example is I looked at Brian's changelog, and I think one of like the nerfs they did to him was like they completely nerfed his Fisherman Slam, the ability for it to hit airborne opponents, but at the same time they buffed like his EX Matchbreaker of all moves, and so they made that slightly safer. And even now, with the change to make it slightly safer, it's still very unsafe on block. You can still, like, pretty much, most characters can still get a full combo off of it. So, I mean, for those who don't know what it looks like, it's basically just like his Matchbreaker, and he just rolls across the screen and goes, HAA! And it has one hit armor, but they made that slightly safer, but it's just not really much to, like, counteract all of the sort of nerfs he got. But yeah, I mean, I suppose that anyone who still uses the Street Fighter cast and still uses the characters who got nerfed, I think like will get like a massive, you know, massive applause, at least in my book. Even though probably my applause don't mean much, but you know, hey, it's like, but you get a massive thumbs up from me because straight up, you know, all the character loyalists I think will still pretty much play those characters. And besides, think of it this way: if you win with the Street Fighter characters, you basically have the great feeling of just winning because you know you're winning with a character you like, or at least in theory. Some people actually like the Tekken characters, but you all have pretty much the odd like bandwagoner who pretty much sit there and change his character just because that character got buffed and all that stuff. And I don't know, the idea of just winning with people because you know you like them is just pretty cool, at least. But yeah, onto my characters. I mean, I'm sorry if this like it sounds really bad and really self-centered, but onto my characters. And both my characters got buffed. I mean, I know it's not really a good idea to feel so smug like this, but they got buffed. I mean, there's not really much I can say about it. It's the truth. I mean, for Akuma's changes, I actually thought they were actually pretty well-rounded, at least in my opinion, because what they did is they gave him quite a bit of offensive tools, and they buffed his combo big game a little bit, especially with his close standing heavy kick. That thing was like buffed pretty big, especially in the fact that now the second hit causes a ground bounce, and now that second hit can also be cancelled. So what that means is that you'll be able to land Masogi's a lot easier mid screen, as well as do like proper Pandora sets that don't require a lot of effort. You see that combo, that last combo I did with Pandora, for those who watched my Akuma combo video, that took about a good 20 tries to get right. It took so long. It's the idea of just doing stand light punch and then hitting 3 down motions very quickly. It's just so much. But now it's going to be much easier, so I welcome that quite a bit. He also did stuff like, you know, buff up his tattoos as well as buff up stuff from his demon flip as well. They still haven't made his demon. If he still demon flips at you though, it's still like counter hit bait. He's still going to get hit into a full combo, but I suppose that's pretty much. I suppose it is how it is. If you play a low health character, you have to be willing to take the risk, man. But you know, but in order to compensate for all this offensive stuff, they also nerfed his runaway game, especially like stuff with the air fireballs, and also the nerf to rolls also hurts him a lot because he can't just roll teleport, which I thought was really cheap in my opinion. But the air fireballs, like, they reduced the hitbox as well as, you know, increased the recovery when used doing the jump back, and how that actually, you know, it's just kind of, it's quite a crippling one, especially like if you like the sort of runaway style Akuma. But I don't mind because right now I kind of want to put him. I kind of want to make him an offensive character. And overall, I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, the idea that now like the roles are more punishable, it also makes me. It also, we could see an Akuma Vortex. We could. And I'm not gonna bet on it, but we could see one. Especially because I've been messing with autocorrect demon flips in the lab quite a bit, and we could see one. We could see one. I'm not like holding my breath on it, but we could see one. but overall, I think in terms of positioning on a team, I think he'll be a stronger anchor character. There'll be a reason to use him as an anchor, at least now, because you could use him as an anchor before, but like there were much better anchors who could do like more damage, and it was like there really is like the points of using him as an anchor is kind of weak. At least in comparison to other people, but and I think he'll be somewhat weaker as a point, but don't I'm still running him on point. I mean, here's why I think he'll be somewhat weaker, is because his escape options will be pretty limited. Because you know they reduced like this. What they did is they reduced the distance at which he teleport travels. So they'll make it so basically it should be a lot easier to punish. Ah man, and if our guest OZLeon is watching this right now, I have no idea what was going through my head when I did that raw tag. No idea. Like, it's one of those things I can't really explain. I don't know what happened. I think I wanted to try alpha counter, but and then I realized, I didn't have enough meter. That's one thing I don't watch. I don't watch my meter. I tend not to watch it. I just think spur of the moment. If I have the meter, hey, it works. If I don't have the meter, screw it. It might not work. I'm like, where's the switch? And then I look at the replay and be like, oh wait, I didn't have enough meter. It's something I got to work on. I mean, Lily on the other hand got buffed overall. I mean, even though a lot of people have thought, she got nerfed because you saw like the boost chain nerfs and stuff, but that's kind of universal. I mean, the stuff like for instance, her EX Angel Knee jump cancel, I think that's going to be really good. Really good jump cancelable. I mean, they're actually going to make the follow-up jump cancelable, which will actually give people an incentive to use it rather than just use raw EX Angel Knee. And I think it also hits crouches as well. I think. At least I think so. I haven't got the changelog in front of me, so you know, if anyone, if that's actually true, then please say. And also dominating heel as well. Her dominating heel, it's like a little move where she sticks her knee up and then she brings it. No, she sticks her knee up, then brings it back down again, and it steps on your foot, and your character starts reeling back in pain. Yeah, they're making that the first hit on that now stand on hit, and people will think, what does this mean? Okay, so what this means is that for all the Lily players out there, if there are any, apart from myself and some others probably, if you are out there, please say. But what this will mean is if you land like a peacock string, i.e. that string where, for those who don't know, it's that string where she pretty much does some back kick and then she does that punch style attack. If you land that on a crouching opponent now, in order to like force stand on hit against someone, in order to go to angel knees and get more damage, you have to kind of learn that one frame limit, which is standing light punch, crouching heavy punch, and that is quite a bit to learn. And it's actually pretty tough, especially to do online. And so the idea of this buff is to basically make it easier but to force stand as well as get the damage on top of it. And because if you do hit a crouched opponent, generally if you want to get the 300s, which is what you need with a lot of that, you want damage when you hit someone. At least in my opinion. The idea is to pretty much like you generally tend to burn meat up, which is something I really don't like doing, but it's something you gotta do if you want your damage, I suppose. But yeah, I just have this feeling that like I think my characters will get quite a bit of like I'm just feeling I just may get some negative stigma because of this patch. There's something in the back of my head that tells me that. But I think at the end of the day, I think to myself like, if you lose the reason why, because I think people might say, oh, you're just using them because you're bandwagoning. When in all honesty, I'll straight up say I'll use these characters from day one, and like they have these people that I've been there since people say Kuma's crap, he's not a good character, you'd never compete with so and so other characters, and like or people say, oh, Lily's like, I don't know a thing about her, so let me just start shouting at people, shouting at the person playing her, and make rude and hurtful comments down the mic because I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, that's the one thing, especially about character knowledge, in my opinion. I mean, if you lose to someone because of lack of character knowledge, don't be angry at like the person playing. You should more be angry at yourself. You actually like did not sit there and decide to explore the game I understand what everyone else could do. I mean, that's the thing I think with fighting games sometimes. That's usually why I like them a lot. They're kind of, they kind of thrive on exploration, at least in my opinion. Like, you have to have an idea what everyone can do, you know, because going into a match at blind, I think, especially against someone who knows what they're doing against you, is pretty rough stuff, I can tell you straight up. It's really rough stuff. Just ask like Doug Driller, aka Songi. I'm basically gonna fight him next. I've got some videos for him. I mean, Doug Driller, that's how you say his name, isn't it? I'm not getting this wrong. He's probably gonna beat my ass later if I ever fight him again if I say his name wrong. But yeah, I've got matches with him next. But yeah, that's what I think, at least in my opinion. But overall, I'm alright with. I'm okay with the patch right now. I'll just wait for it to release, but I think until then, I'll still be playing this game pre-patch. Even though I said at the beginning, oh, I might not play this game pre-patch. But since I kind of want to get more Street Fighter Cross Tekken content on here, and you know, I kind of take a small little break from the Tekken 6 dialogues. Don't worry, I'm coming back to them. But you know, I kind of want to get more content for this game up. Since you know, this is like pretty much one of my favorite fighting games so far. next to playing Tekken, so. That's how it is, but let's break down this match because I think this is really cool. I like this match a lot. I mean, I'll tell you something to Oz, yeah, straight up, yeah. These matches were really fun, like straight up. I mean, even though, I mean, there wasn't really like a massive structure to these matches. All it was just pretty much a, hey man, I kind of went to him one day. I said, oh man, do you want to spar? And I was like, he was like, okay. I was like, straight up, I was like, and so we ended up just sparring each other, and I'm like, okay. So you just played matches, and these are just some of them. It's really funny because when we were playing this, like this was like on the day the alternates just came out, and I was like, oh, I was so annoyed because the idea that the PlayStation Store hadn't updated in Europe yet. So I was like, why haven't I got these alternates? I was like, oh, where are these alternates? I want these alternates so badly. I'm just watching him play, and I'm like, oh. But still, this guy plays a very good Akuma Heihachi team. It's extremely good. I think I got rocked really badly in this, really badly. I think we played like a couple times and I've just been completely rocked. But I'm getting slightly better. At least I think I'm getting slightly better. You know, at doing stuff like Ragey Demons. At least, you know, if I know I'm gonna lose, at least got to land a demon or a Masoki. At least got to land it. I can't go out, you know, like, you know, saying, oh, I give up like that. I got to go out fighting at least. But yeah, I got to drink some water. Damn, I've been talking so much. Ah, sorry. That affected the mic. I'm really sorry. Oh, I might have hurt some people's earphones, headphones, or whatever if they were listening through that. But that said, let's get back to these matches. The idea against this sort of Akuma mirror match thing is that, man, this Akuma mirror match is actually very interesting. It's kind of like the Street Fighter 4 Akuma mirror match in a way. Only it's just in a different sort of type of setting, if that makes any sense, you know. In the idea and the fact that both of us are kind of waiting, I think, or at least I think so. I can't speak for Oz because he's not here, but at least I think so. Both of us are kind of waiting to sort of gain that one bar, because generally once you get that one bar of Akuma, you kind of want to let your partner do the work. In general, especially if you run I think Akuma works definitely well with anyone who relies on meter a lot, because he tends not to rely on meter. He's not as meter heavy as other characters in the game. Or at least I think he is in meter heavy. You know, a lot of people think he is. I mean, he can work well with meter. When you get 2 bars in that and 3 bars, I think he becomes very deadly with the Raging Demon, like shutting down all these offensive options. But I think the idea is to pretty much just like let you know, the secondaries do our work, and yeah, it's Heihachi's secondary. And the cool thing about his Heihachi, which I like, is that he puts speed gems on him, and I think the speed gems are very underrated. I think in this game. Simply because like, I don't think there's much weaknesses to him. In the fact that I think the only weakness to a speed gem, I think, is the idea is you could have picked another gem to suit your playstyle, or you could have what you could have done instead, you could have Pandora'd like me, done a level 3, and I so want my Pandora so badly. But as I was saying about the speed gems, and this is probably the reason why I haven't got a Pandora finish yet, but as I said for the speed gems, it's either that, the idea if you could have picked a better gem, or like you yourself, the player, execution skills. Because you know, you could be messed up with all the jumping timers. I want you guys to now count the throws straight up, because any throw, demon fit throw, regular throw, this just gives you a good idea of what I need to work on. Throw breaking. throw breaking, throw breaking. Oz is just pretty much showing me I need to work on throw breaking a lot. I got thrown about probably 4 or 5 times, and like I'm just pretty much down on life already, and it's not a good sign. Need to work on it. But anyway, these were the matches. I hope you enjoyed this, and there's gonna be more of this coming. I'm facing basically Dog Driller, that Xiao Yu Lily team everyone's so scared of. Actually no, it's not really, he just hits really hard with his team. But anyway, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you later, man. Peace.